Thanks for watching/listening to Comedy Worse. Like, please like the episodes. Subscribe. Wherever you're listening. Follow. Wherever you're listening or watching, follow. Thank you. Comedy or Worse presents a free comedy show at Quantum Brewing. Yay! 5375 Kearney Villa Road, San Diego, California 92123. Every Friday, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Every Saturday, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Yeah, great beer, outside food, and dog friendly. Scan the QR code or go to comedyworse.com/QB. Welcome back to Comedy or Worse. I'm here with my very special guest,
Andy Sesma.
Oh yeah. So, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Besides the waiting in line at the border for longer than what I hope, which is basically the story of my life, at least for the past 10 years.
Yeah, but you pay for convenience, right?
Yeah, convenience, cheap rent, delicious tacos, but just got to deal with that border.
Right, exactly. Okay. So, do you use the stage name?
No, Andy Sesma is my real name. Well, my real name's Andrew, but everybody's always called me Andy, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's my actual name.
Sweet. So how did you get into comedy?
Well, I just started doing comedy in March, so I haven't been doing it too long, but I've been dreaming of doing it, for years, probably since I was a young teenager, but just never had the actual courage to go up and do it until I started in March.
All right, cool. Let's see, maybe scoot in a little bit, just so we can have good sound.
Yeah, the sound.
In stereo. All right. So when you got started, did you get addicted to doing it right away, or?
Yes. As soon as I went on stage, I did go up on stage like maybe in 2017 here at the Madhouse when it was at the top of the Horton Plaza, but I didn't really have anything prepared, and it went horribly wrong. And that was like probably 2017, 2018. And now that I did it again in March, and I actually had like stuff prepared, and I didn't go as it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best, but it was enough. I got enough laughs for it to be like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. Right in my my goals that I've always wanted to do. It was a confirmation.
Okay. So why didn't you keep doing it right away? Is it because it went so bad, or?
Yeah, I think even though it went bad, I was proud of myself for actually going up when I did it in 2017. But I don't know what held me back. I think it was still just that fear of failure,
Right.
But once I did it the second attempt, here in March, I was like, all right, this is, I'm going in all or nothing. So.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's one of the questions I asked. Do you wish you started earlier? It sounds like the answer is yes.
Yes.
So what is your writing process for comedy?
Well, what's funny, every time when I try to sit down and write, a lot of times I'll just be kind of staring at the wall and stuff. A lot of my writing process comes from it'll either be late at night when I'm trying to fall asleep. That's when my best ideas, I feel, have come, when I'm like, all right, brain, shut off. Like, like, oh, but what about this? I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. And then I'm up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I feel like that's been more of like consistent, because every time I try to sit down and actually write, that's when I'm like, Come on, ideas.
You gotta trick your brain.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Okay, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, it's 10 o'clock. Nope, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. And you know what's fun is sometimes waiting in line at the border, I'll have my notepad now because sometimes I've had some ideas there. I've had I don't know if you heard some of my sets, but a lot of my sets include being at the border and what's happening at the border because I'm there so freaking much.
It's easy to get back into the country in
Yes.
Mexico, but it's hard to get back in the United
Yeah,
States.
unless it's like maybe a Friday afternoon, it's so easy to get into Mexico.
Right. So what's the fastest you've ever got back in the United States from the border?
The fastest was probably like one time I had to work on Christmas and I crossed and there was like nobody at the border.
And now you're at work 2 hours
Yeah,
early. You're
yeah.
like, God damn it.
Exactly, yeah. No, that happens. No, on a typical day, like not a holiday, maybe like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I usually don't work Sunday or Monday, and when I do work Saturday, I asked if I can come in really early. I work at a hotel in Coronado. So I haven't had too many issues, especially because the time that I go into work is like 10:30, 11 a.m. and that's usually past like the morning rush and like the the afternoon traffic still hasn't come in, so that's like perfect. That's why I'm still working there.
Have you ever realized you forgot your wallet or something?
Yes, I've actually left my phone, card. As long as I have my passport, like it's like whatever. Like my wallet or like cards I can have on my phone, or sometimes if I'm just going to work and unless I have to put in gas in my car, I'll be fine. I even crossed without my passport too before. And that just takes a little bit longer. They just sent you like secondary inspection. I had to do that a couple times. They put on the rubber glove and no, just kidding. They're like, all right, bend over and cough.
I'll just go back and get my passport. Yeah, cool. So how many times do you try a joke before you get rid of it?
Well, like I said, since I'm so new, I have done a lot of the stuff that I started with. Like I think I've pretty much set most of that stuff aside. I will keep a few tags just because most of my material's based around how a white Mexican, so most material like I'll have a few tags that when I first started that I used. But as far as the stories, maybe like 15 to 20 times, I'd say, just depending on how much I can get up on stage. Because like I said, I have a full-time job, family, live in Mexico, so it's kind of tough. There's stuff that I still kind of want to go back to that I'm like, I feel like I'm not done with that joke yet, Okay. Or maybe try it, in a different form or say it in a different way.
Right. So sometimes you just set a joke aside.
Mm-hmm.
So who's the funniest person in your life right now?
Ooh, I'll probably have to say my wife, probably.
Nice.
Yeah, she's definitely the person who constantly makes me whether it be, she's full-blown Mexican, like she's got it bad. But she's, I don't know, just quirky. Ever since I met her, I can never expect what she's gonna say, whether that be a good thing or a bad thing. But no, she's definitely the funniest person that I know.
Cool. And she's not a comedian.
Not a comedian, no.
So I asked this question of everybody. I don't always know what the answer is, but when did we meet?
We met, I recall, probably on my first time here at the Madhouse, I want to say, because I started in March. My first set was at the American Comedy Company, and I don't remember if you were there at that time during my first set, but I definitely remember a few days after that coming here and doing the open mic, and I think I met you here.
All right.
just
Cool.
here in line looking at where we're at on the list. Everybody
Yeah.
rushes to the list when it comes out.
All right. So, have you traveled to do comedy?
No, not yet. I have done a couple mics in TJ in Spanish,
Cool.
and those went well. I definitely kind of I feel more comfortable doing it in English because I think I learned English first. Even though I was born in Mexico, I did live with my American grandparents, so I'm just more comfortable in English. I wouldn't know if I'm funnier in English more than Spanish, but definitely when I write and stuff, it comes out in English.
All right. Cool. So, do you have any hobbies or passions that aren't related to comedy?
Fishing. I haven't done it as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But definitely deep sea fishing because it's the town that I grew up in. That's what we would primarily do. Is just go out fishing, whether it be sports fishing, taking people out, or just just for pleasure and stuff. That was my main thing that I did. When growing up in Baja, and
Sweet.
ATV, off road, motorbikes and stuff like that.
Nice. All right. So, what are your goals in comedy?
My goals in comedy is to be undeniably funny, whether it be theater, making it to be able to do like theater performances and stuff like that. That's probably like my goal, and to be respected among my peers. Cool. Now, if it goes beyond that, that would be awesome too. But that's my main goal. I feel like that's achievable.
Nice. Sounds good. So, what is your favorite joke? It could be anybody's joke.
Anybody's joke?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Growing up, I took like one of my favorite comedians was probably like George Lopez, and right now his joke about his grandmother treating him like how he wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese. And he's like, "You want to go to Chuck E. Cheese?" And she just lift over the fridge, and she's like, "There's a rat right there. It's the same thing." Like his whole bit about like it's the same thing. That's probably something that I've used throughout my life, and that is always stuck with me. Like I don't know, just that time period of growing up when I was young, and just George Lopez was probably like definitely up there. And that joke particularly. It's the same thing.
So what was your first joke?
My first joke, my first joke was about how I was like, guys, even though I look white, I think I do that. I'm half Mexican too. I don't know if you remember that. I used to do that all the time. I think that was my first joke, and then it led into how I was raised by my grandparents in Mexico, and they had a bed and breakfast. But it's not like Airbnb nowadays where you could just rent a stranger's house and get blacked out drunk and pee in a pot plant. Like it was like a legit bed and breakfast, and that was my first joke.
Nice.
Yeah. My grandparents.
Sweet. So you still use that joke?
I haven't used that. It's probably been maybe like a couple months that I haven't used that joke.
All right.
But yeah, that was my first one.
All right. Cool. So do you have like a favorite fan interaction? Either you were a fan of somebody or someone was a fan of you.
I did have a couple weeks ago at ACC somebody just that I didn't know who they were, and it was the first time somebody actually approached me like, "Hey man, like you're a comedian, right? Like you were funny, like you have like this bit about Mexico and stuff." And I was like, "Oh really?" And they ended up buying me a beer because I was waiting in line to get a beer so I can get a drink ticket to put into the bucket at ACC, and yeah, they bought me the beer, and and I was like, wow, like I think I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do it.
That's cool. Yeah, just 5,000 more of those.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. That was the first time that happened too.
Yeah,
And it
cool.
felt, yeah.
Did you ever end up going up that night?
No. That night I was like, oh man,
Dang it.
That's
they tried to help you.
Yeah, I know. They try to help me. But that's how it is at ACC. You know, sometimes you go up. I've had like a 5-week streak of not going up before, and then I've had like, you know, where I went up like 3 or 4 consecutive times. Like, you just never know.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. So, what's your favorite place to do comedy?
My favorite place is probably at ACC, at the American Comedy Company. I like here at Madhouse too, because it can be intimate, and there's jokes that have worked here that haven't, or just because it's a more intimate setting that I feel like work better here. But my favorite, probably so far, is at American Comedy Company. I still need to go up to La Jolla and try, you know, that.
You should be calling every week.
I know. Well, see, this is the thing
you
that
can't get there. Like you, even if you get up, you can't get up every week there anyway. It's every other week.
Yeah.
So you got to start on them.
Yeah.
Because who knows? You never know how much people are going to, different clubs are going to like you. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, but
get in that friends and family list. Right.
I heard it's tough to get on that list, right?
Sure. So
you got to
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I just need like my job. Like, I like my job, and you know, but it's just sometimes there's, you know, like, oh, we need you to work a double or do
too early.
It is too early, so I just don't want to like sign up for something and not be able to make it. You know,
okay.
And
well, that's a pretty good excuse. I thought it was just because you're scared.
No. It's more of scheduling. But see, soon we'll all be living up here in the United States. I won't have to cross anymore, and that's going to change a lot of things. I might be able to get a different job, work different hours, and just like figure it out. You know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Sweet.
Fingers crossed.
All right. So, what is the scariest place to perform right now?
The scariest place to perform?
Yeah.
Oof. To me, it's anywhere where it's just a room full of comedians. I feel like that's the scariest. That's when I get the most nervous. Sometimes it's here at Madhouse.
Yeah, there's places like LA where it's an open mic is always in front of just comedians.
Yeah. See, I need to venture out more. I've only done open mics here in San Diego. I did have the opportunity to go to New Orleans like in February, and but I was only there for a few days. I couldn't find any open mics, but I did see a stand-up show. But I was ready. I was like, I want to go do some open mic somewhere that's not, you know, but they're not going to get any of my Mexico jokes. I was like, TJ's right there. It's Tijuana. They're like, what's TJ?
Who's TJ?
Yeah, it's TJ.
All right, so what was your family life growing up?
My family life growing up was, it was a lot different than others. I mean, just growing up at a bed and breakfast in Mexico, raised by my American grandparents, my white American grandparents, and my mom too. My dad is Mexican, but him and my mom had split up when I was like 1, so he lives in Mexicali, which is just a few hours east. But I did get to spend time with him once I was a little bit older and stuff. But I primarily just lived with my grandparents, just a small town called San Quintin, 4 hours south of Tijuana. And it was definitely very interesting. Like, we had tourists from all over the world, a lot of the racers from the Baja 1000.
Cool.
We catered to them. It it was an amazing childhood, honestly. I had a big old ranch that, my grandparents had, and, lots of space to just, ride my bike, and yeah, it was awesome.
Sweet.
I did, go back and forth from there, going to school. Like I did do like 3rd grade through 9th grade in the United States, in Ontario, California.
Oh, okay.
And that was cool too. But we eventually moved back down to Mexico. After my grandfather passed, like in the early 2000s, so they stopped doing the business, it was just our house that we just lived at.
Oh.
And but still, it was 11-acre ranch. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Lots of space. And I've lived in Mexico since then. I mean, for the past 10 years, I've lived in Tijuana with my family,
Yeah.
and just gone back and forth across the border and worked.
Cool. So what's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory? Ooh. It's probably be more like a traumatic memory. I remember.
That's right.
Yeah, it's trauma. I think I was like 5, and riding on the back of an ATV with my cousin and flipping over on a 3-wheeler.
Yikes.
And like you can't tell because I have my beard and stuff, but I have a scar along my chin. I just split open my chin.
Nice.
And just bled everywhere. And I remember that pretty vividly. Yeah, I think I was like 5, 6. I want to say that's probably like my earliest memory.
Sure.
I didn't stop me from getting back on those ATVs.
Mark on you.
Yeah, literally. It didn't stop me from getting back on those ATVs though.
Makes sense. So do you do any other type of art?
When I was younger, I did like writing poems, and I was really into hip hop. I haven't done so much as an adult. Maybe, that's not true. I have written some songs or poems for like my wife and like my daughter and stuff. I'll eventually just like doodle in my notebook, actually in my comedy notebook, and I'll write things like that just to, if I feel like I'm having writer's block doing something else other than comedy, I feel like gets my creative juices flowing too.
Yeah.
So even if it's just like a 2-word sentence or a rhyme or something, that kind of gets my brain working a little bit different, and I can start writing.
Sweet. So what's the biggest audience you perform for?
Probably at ACC when they had, it's like a packed open mic.
Yeah.
I don't know how many seats that is or how many people, but that was quite a lot. And I feel like I'm more comfortable in front of more people than when there's less people for some strange reason. I don't know.
Right, yeah, because the crowd could be easier to win over.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about those odds.
Mm-hmm.
So would you ever do a character on stage?
I don't know if as stand-up, probably not. I wouldn't mind getting into like improv and like maybe doing like theater. I did do drama when I was in junior high and high school, and I like that. So I have done like characters like that. But as far as like a comedic character for like stand-up, no, I think I'd rather just be myself on stage.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see. So, have you ever won a comedy contest or anything?
No, not yet.
What about the best booking story so far?
Best booking story?
Yeah, or that you got on a show.
No, I have had some invitations. Like you've invited me to get booked on, which I might follow through with that in the next couple weeks.
Yeah,
Just making sure that, because we are going into slow season at my work, and we have been getting off a lot easy, so I just want to or a lot earlier. So I just want to make sure that if I do book something, that I make it,
Sure.
So,
I think that you should not worry about that and just book it. And if you can't make it, it's not the end of the world. I mean, as long as you're not doing that every time.
Yeah.
That would get annoying.
Yeah, I just don't want to burn any bridges, you know. Getting so
early
into comedy.
Quantum Brewing is a low bar.
Okay.
It's not. You get banned from Quantum Brewing, your comedy career's not over. No, it's very few people are banned.
Okay.
And I think they know they're banned because they're not coming. So that's good. So what's the worst thing about comedy right now?
The worst thing about comedy? Well, I will say this. A lot of my favorite comedians that I had grown up, they've gone more into like the political spectrum, and I don't like that aspect of it. I feel like because of social media and stuff like that, it's just easy to get sucked into that political black hole. And I'd say that's one of my qualms with comedy is people trying to get too political or have it be too opinion based. Like, we're here to laugh, you know. I feel like that's what it's more about instead of getting.
Sure. Well, I mean, you know, politics is the art of manipulating people, and comedy, you're trying to manipulate people in the sense that you're trying to make them laugh.
Yeah.
Right? And pay attention. So, if you think about those things, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to do a joke that everyone's going to laugh at if you're getting political.
Right.
But people can do it.
No, I'm not saying it's impossible, but for me, I just feel like it's more like a trend. Like, people like, oh, well, let me try to get political just to get more, I don't know, shock value or something.
Sure. Yeah. So, are you telling, like, personal stories and you want to get better at that, or?
Yeah, I want to get better at that, and also try to attempt more observational humor, because I feel like it is more like my perspective, like, oh, I've, you know, white growing up in Mexico. Not that I want to veer from that, like, I do want that, but I want to be like a more like rounded comedian too, as far as being better at being in the moment, because I have relied on, like, okay, I'll write a set, and I've been trying to get away from sounding more robotic and, you know, saying it exactly like how I wrote it.
Right.
And yes.
Yeah. All right. Do you enjoy watching other people work on jokes?
I do find it interesting, especially people who I've considered. I'm like, wow, that person's really good, and then they switch it up, they start a new material, and I'm like, oh, that's, you know, came out kind of rough. They didn't have the same exact reaction like they usually do, but okay. And then I see them a couple weeks later, and then like, oh wow, they've, you know, improved that, or if they've, you know, they took that part out, now they're using it over here, and seeing the process of how a joke is done. Yeah, I do find that very interesting.
That's cool. All right. So, have you ever been in a car accident?
I have. I've been in a couple car accidents. One time with my father when I was first getting to know him, per se. Because, like I said, when him and my mom separated, I was like 1, and I didn't really get to see him again until like when I was like 10, after he got clean off of drugs and had to go through a whole, you know, process. But anyway, when I first met up with him, I think within the first few days of like staying out, like, we were in a car accident. I was like, 10 or 11, and he was driving, and I think we were going up this hill, and just as soon as we were going up this hill, like, it was like during the sunset, like the sun shone like right into his eyes, and then the cars like stopped that were going up the hill because there's like a light, and he just ran right into a taxi. So that was the first time, and it wasn't too bad of an accident. Like, luckily no one was like injured, just like there's just problems with like the bumper and the rear bumper of the taxi.
Yeah.
But the more serious car crash, I think I was like 17, and this happened in my hometown in San Quintin, and I was riding passenger with a friend of mine, a woman driver, but that has nothing to do with what happened. She's just my friend. She just happened to be a woman. So, sorry.
At the time, she happened to be a woman.
Sorry, ladies. And she made a U-turn at a light. Like, it did turn green, but I mean, I didn't see it either, but I guess apparently there was a don't turn left, sign there, and she made that left, and the other cars kept coming, like they were on a curve, and they hit like the front side of the car and sent us in a tailspin.
Wow.
And yeah, that was like, she had to go to the hospital. She had like a broken rib. I had some bruised ribs. Luckily, I didn't have anything too serious besides just bruised ribs, but that's probably like the scariest one.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah, but that's why I always wear my seatbelt. Even in Mexico. That's where you need to wear it most.
Yeah. You don't want to be thrown from the car.
No.
I didn't know we were playing Smash Up Derby.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite town to live in?
I love Tijuana. Growing up, my grandparents always were kind of like, oh, be wary of Tijuana. Like, nothing good comes from Tijuana. But as an adult now living there, like, I found that's not true. Tijuana does have its bad side, just like any big city. It's like, San Diego has some areas where you're like, just be careful. Yeah. But it is one of the best cities in America, So, but Tijuana has been, I mean, just like their food is amazing. The people are a lot of hard workers, very resilient, and I've grown to fall in love with the city.
Yeah.
So, cool. Tijuana is probably like one of my favorites. And my hometown, I like my hometown too, of San Quintin.
Cool. Has like Tijuana grown, or?
Tijuana has grown a lot. They're trying to build the new roads. There's a lot of construction going on just because the way the roads were built was not made for so many people. But they're working on it. They're working on it, definitely. Like I said, me growing up in a small town, I didn't think I'd become accustomed to living in a city. Yeah. Especially like Tijuana. But after, it just takes time. Because it took me 10 years.
What about the corruption, the politics? Has it gotten better? Or?
Well, I do see that they are making efforts as far as like cracking down on corruption and the all the narco drug dealers and stuff like that. But that is going to be a tough thing. But I think Mexico is trying to be more industrial than anything, than known for violence and trafficking. And I think there is a lot of cracking down on that now. I can see it. Just as far as like you do see a little bit more military on the streets, especially like downtown, which I hear people we're used to. Oh no. Like here, they're not used to that. Like in Mexico, I feel like I'm used to seeing like military in the streets, but not like how they have been lately. Yeah. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, I would say, especially for how bad it's gotten in the past.
Sure.
But we've been living there for 10 years. I haven't seen anything, like crazy, any narco activity. I've heard about it, Sure. Just recently there was like grenades dropped from drones in TJ attacking one of the Attorney General's office or something.
Oh, no.
So it could be related to the them cracking down on the cartel. So hopefully it doesn't escalate, too much. But just like up here in the States, I feel like there's political turmoil, and then it kind of subsides after a while, and pendulum swings the other way, and it's calm for a while.
Right. So do you have like dual citizenship, or?
I do have dual citizenship. Yeah, since I was born down there, and since my mom is an American citizen, I got my citizenship like when I was 12.
Sweet.
Even though before that I was crossing the border saying I was an American citizen. This is pre 9/11.
Right.
They had just like citizenship, and I'd be like U.S. citizen. And, I'm a white boy, and they're like, yeah, come on. This is back before passports.
That's funny.
And I'm like, isn't that lying, Grandpa? And here, my grandparents are conservative Christians. Like, don't do it. But like, yeah, just tell them you're American.
Right, yeah. Your values break down in the practical.
Yeah, like don't lie unless it's to a border patrol agent. I feel like that's the opposite.
My goodness, that's good to eat.
But I eventually got my citizenship, and I didn't have to lie anymore.
Did they ask you about past activity? Did they ask you? Oh,
no.
Okay, that's good. You would have to admit to lying.
Yeah. No, I think.
Like, wait a minute, maybe you shouldn't make. You're gonna lie. So you wouldn't lie now, right?
No, especially now. Back then, is different times. It's different times.
Makes sense. That's how time works.
Yeah, different time. But now it's no, they'll probably have you recorded on tape. If they ask you that at the border, they're like, well, we actually have you recorded here saying that, saying this, Right. But yeah, no, not nowadays. You don't want to lie to the government.
Nope.
They'll get you.
Doesn't matter what government. Let's see. So, what's your favorite type of music?
Ooh, I have a lot of different genres of music that I like, but what I listen to the most, top two genres, is probably hip hop and reggae.
Cool.
I usually do hip hop since I've gotten into working out. I don't like going to the gym. I do like home workouts, and hip hop just gets me really motivated. It'd be classic hip hop, 90s Wu-Tang Clan, like the old West Coast hip hop, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and that stuff, constantly playing. Then when I want to relax, I usually switch it over to like reggae, more like 70s, 80s reggaes, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, stuff like that.
Okay.
I've been listening to a lot of Mexican reggae and hip hop as well.
Okay.
I'm getting into that. I feel like Mexican hip hop right now, it feels like the 90s hip hop, like just how raw it is, and just like they really got they got a voice, like, and it's incredible to see, and it's becoming very a lot more popular than it was in the past years, I feel.
Cool.
So
Nice.
but I do listen to a lot of classic rock too.
Yeah.
So I'm all over the place, but mainly hip hop, reggae.
Cool. So what do you use to listen to music?
Spotify, YouTube. Mainly Spotify.
So you're paying for Spotify?
I am paying for Spotify.
How much is that?
Let's see. I pay because I have the Mexican Spotify.
What?
I pay, I think, 99 pesos. I think that's like $6
Okay.
for the basic plan. I don't have no commercials, no nothing. They keep wanting me to get the family plan, but I'm like, nah, my family can get their own subscription. I have a 16-year-old daughter and stuff.
Right.
She was using my account, but she's like, Dad, I think she switched over to something else.
Right.
But she said that she makes her own money now. She sells gummies, so I don't have to give her an allowance. I help her sell her gummies too at my work, so
Okay.
she can pay her own Spotify with her gummy money.
Sure. So, is she excited about moving, or
She is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I have 2 kids. I have a 16-year-old daughter, and my son is 11.
Okay.
My wife is probably the least excited, just because she loves Mexico. She's grown up. She's always known that we're gonna move up here eventually.
Yeah.
But she's, she has her friends. She has her,
Right.
social clubs, and stuff like that. And I understand, it's gonna be tough. But luckily, we'll still be close by. We'll still be in San Diego, so it's not like we can't go back to TJ. My kids are super excited. My daughter, will be sad to see her friends, but she's like eager to start her education over here.
Sure.
Like she wants to go to college up here.
Yeah, makes sense. It's going to be easier to live in California because the rates are crazy. You're out of state.
Yeah.
Can't imagine out of country. Oh no.
Yeah.
So were your children born in Mexico?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since my wife was Mexican, and we were really young when we started seeing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time she got pregnant, she went back to her home state, which is in Chiapas. That's the southernmost state in Mexico.
Yeah.
And she spent her pregnancies down there while I, came up here, saved up money, and then went back down.
Yeah.
And
okay.
We did that for both our kids. Like I said, even though my grandparents did well for themselves, like after a while, like my mom struggled a lot, so I didn't have a lot of money for like immigration lawyers and stuff. I kind of had to save up money, make a certain amount without having to need a sponsor and stuff like that. So it took us a long time to start the whole immigration process.
Yeah.
That's why we're barely moving over now. Now that I have, I made enough money to not need a sponsor, and I could pay the lawyers, I could do all that stuff. So that's why it took so long.
Yeah. So you have dual citizenship. What about your wife?
Not yet. So we're in the final stages of their immigration process. So my son has a citizenship.
Oh.
I applied for my son and my daughter at the same time, like in 2018, 2019. And they accepted my son and they denied my daughter because I had to prove that I lived in the United States for a certain amount of time before a certain child was born. So since my son, he was the youngest, like I qualified for him, but not for my daughter. So yeah, it's the rules that they have for legal immigration and stuff are very hard.
Yeah.
So I see why people do it. I have done it illegally for years. Like, me doing it the legal way has just been a nightmare. It's been a headache, and they definitely need to revamp that whole legal immigration system.
Right. Makes sense. Let's see. So, what other countries have you been to?
Just U.S. and Mexico. I haven't really ventured out. In the U.S., I've only been recently went to Louisiana, went to New Orleans. I went on a trip through my work, and since my wife couldn't go, I ended up taking one of my best friends, who's always taken our family out for stuff. So I just felt like I owed him, and so we went out for a couple of days, did that, and I stayed in Arizona for a little bit. I had a friend who worked out there. His mom owned a diner. So I worked at a diner in Kingman, Arizona, just the middle of nowhere. I did that for a few months, and then I was too far from my family. I was like, I can't do that. So I ended up coming back out here. And then worked at Dave & Buster's for a while here in San Diego.
Wow.
And now I work at the hotel in Coronado. Sweet. But yeah, as far as traveling, just Mexico and the U.S.
Yeah. Nice. So you like working behind a desk at the...
No, I was bar backing for a while, and I just got promoted to bartender.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm bartending when I first started there, I worked in room service. I was a room service server.
Yeah.
And then my goal was to eventually work at the bar. And so as soon as they opened up a bar back position there, I jumped onto that bar back position, and now I'm bartending.
Nice. So yeah, bartenders can work anywhere.
Yeah. There's always people thirsty and wanting those sweet alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you drink?
Not so much anymore. I'm just drinking water and soda water. And this soda water I have here has a little bit of juice in it.
Juice. No, I'm just kidding.
It's the real juice. Let's see. All right. Do you read any books or?
I used to read when I was younger. I haven't had time really to read books. I've when I'm in line at the bar, I'll do audiobooks sometimes.
Yeah,
but
good stuff.
Yeah. But as far as sitting down and reading a book, it's been a long
fine.
time. Yeah.
Audiobooks count. You still have to.
In junior high, I was
You still have to concentrate, even though someone's reading it for you.
Exactly.
You still have to pay attention.
Okay, if you count audiobooks,
the internet,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
We have to read text messages, the internet. We read plenty.
Yeah, I
don't need
read the articles in the Playboy magazines too.
Right, right to the article, right in the middle,
straight to
right?
the article.
The biggest articles in the middle, right?
Yes. But I was a big Lord of the Rings nerd in junior high.
Nice.
I read The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings. I even ventured off a little bit into the Silmarillion.
I can't handle that.
I didn't finish it. I just
can't handle it. You're not right. It was never meant to be published as stories. It's like background.
Yeah.
The good story starts in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I couldn't handle that. So, and then I read the Harry Potter books, and then as I got older, I got into Stephen King novels. And,
nice.
Clive Cussler. I don't know if you've ever heard of Clive Cussler, but he had these nautical adventures. Clive Cussler was actually one of the guys who helped find the Titanic, in the late 80s, early 90s when they actually found it. But he also wrote novels. I've
seen it at the bookstore.
Yeah.
It's another Clive Cussler.
He'd write these James Bond, a nautical James Bond. Imagine that.
Did he write The Hunt for Red October?
No. There was a movie based on one of his books with Matthew McConaughey. I forget the name of the movie. I think it was probably named after one of the books, but it's been so long that I can't remember the title. But the movie wasn't as good as the books.
So what do you think about movies that are based on books?
Like I said, I'm on the fence about that, because obviously I liked, when I was younger, reading a book and then going and watching how they interpreted it, and then like Lord of the Rings, that was the first one that I got into, and then that prompted me to read the Harry Potter books and then watch the movies, just because I was fascinated to see how they would convert that. But then I'd find myself really mad. Because they cut out the best parts, they didn't have this. This would have made the movie better,
Well, they're making the TV show. Maybe it will be even better.
Yeah.
I mean, better than the movies is probably not going to be better than the books, right?
No, the books just always have more details, and if, I guess it just depends on your imagination, right? Sometimes your imagination can create more detail and more... than just looking at
the book was better. Then you go back and look at the book,
yeah,
they didn't say that. It just was in my imagination.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Right now, I haven't been reading any books.
All that time in the border, you're not reading books? Were you just listening to music?
Yeah, a lot of podcasts. Well, that's not true. The last book that I actually just started listening to, I'd have to look at my phone to see what the name of the title is, but by Stephen, I forget his last name, but it's about being a better stand-up. So yeah, it's like kind of. I usually like fantasy, or like it's kind of like a James Bond, Clive Cussler novels and stuff. But this is the actual first kind of like this is how to do this type of book.
Okay.
Stand up for dummies.
You're getting into the practical.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you don't like sci-fi?
I do like sci-fi. Like as far as watching sci-fi, maybe like as far as sci-fi books. I mean, some Stephen King books were kind of sci-fi.
Yeah.
But no, not. I'm more on the horror, action, adventure.
Cool. What about like alternate history? Have you ever read any of those?
No, I'm trying to think of like an example, something like. Give me an
like
example.
The Man in the High Castle.
Oh, okay.
Now that's actually the second season.
Because they made a show about that, right?
On Amazon. The second season of the show is actually better.
That's if the Nazis won.
Because the book is just like season 1.
Okay.
So I'm not the better. It's just like they did a good job of extending the story.
Right.
That's a very rare exception to
right.
where you're like, the book is better. I mean, the show is kind of better just because it keeps going.
Right.
To me, like extending the story.
Because that story is about how, like, if the Nazis would have won the World War, right?
The Nazis like drop a atomic. They get the bomb first, and they kind of blow. They do a bomb, a nuclear bomb, like in the middle of the United States. They take over the East Coast, and then Japan kind of takes over the West Coast. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I remember watching I didn't know it was based on a book.
Yeah.
I thought that was just another crazy Amazon show.
Yeah.
I'll watch that after The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen. I watched like the first 2 seasons of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, maybe the 3 seasons, but I think like the last season I haven't gotten to.
Yeah, I would recommend it for sure. Let's see. So, do you have any merch?
Not yet. I have been thinking about doing like hats or shirts or even like some bracelets or something.
You should start with
eventually.
stickers at least.
I'll start with stickers. Okay.
Yeah. See if people will take your free sticker.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
I've
been passing out stickers, and there's a few people that don't want it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Actually,
they don't like stickers. They didn't like me, or both.
I got your you gave me a sticker, and I put it on my notebook.
Nice. It's good luck. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, but I totally blanked.
Just like the notebook.
Yeah.
Totally blank. So, do you write your jokes into the cloud or on paper first, or
paper first?
Careful with that.
Yeah. Why?
I've lost notebooks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now I try to write everything into the cloud right away. The only time I write it physically down is like I'm trying to memorize it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like my flow works better if I'm writing on actual pen and paper. For some reason, I have done like the typing and stuff, but I feel
you can also just push the button and like
do a voice.
It does voice, and then as long as you look at it fairly soon, you can correct the mistakes.
Right.
But the voice technology keeps getting better and better. And then, in fact, just like sometimes the act of having to say it over again, it's already like you're starting to rewrite it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it didn't get it. It's like, oh yeah, I should have said this. And then as you're saying it.
Yeah.
And it goes to text. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I've been trying to not use my notes as much. Like sometimes I'll take them up, but before when I first started, I'd say a bit, and then I'd like, oh, blank, and then I'd like, look down, and be like, okay.
I had to like cut myself off. No notes on stage. If I can't remember the joke, then if I can't remember the line, then maybe it wasn't good enough.
I still take my blankie on stage.
Yeah.
I'll eventually
like
veer off.
Getting rid of it, and then it's new joke, so I bring it. And then what happened was I had it on a show, and I was looking at it, reading it too much, and it was distracting. Yeah. And it's like not professional. The booker's like, yeah, you're kind of looking at your notes a lot. So I said from there on, no notes, and it's really helped me. Like that sometimes I'll say as much of the joke as I remember, and then
even if it's a new joke.
Even if it's a new joke, the only exceptions I'll do sometimes is like a song. For some reason, like a song is just, or I should even cut that back, but there were certain songs where I just felt like I was like trying to practice over and over, and it still wasn't getting it. And then, but now even I'm like, well, if I don't remember exactly what it was, I'll just improvise some of the lyrics. Yeah. And it's a long, slow process of all the written and improvised stuff, all the best parts of that rise to the top. Yeah. And that's the new way to do it. Yeah. So I would recommend
no notes.
No notes. If you cannot remember, then
it wasn't meant to be.
It's not a good joke or whatever. Just let you be comfortable in silence, right?
Yeah, that's what
you have to go start working on your stage presence, right?
You gave me a note when I first started about just to make sure to get the mic out of the way, and I remember.
I hate that one.
And so I've been very since you told me, and I noticed it when other people do it. Unless some people use it as a prop.
Sure, if you're going to play with it, but then it's also distracting.
Yeah. Some people would be like, or keep moving it up and down.
The only time I'm using the mic stand is when I actually need the mic stand. It's like, okay, I'm going to play the ukulele and sing into the microphone. Yeah. And then it's not as distracting, right? It's in the way, but it also is serving its purpose. But man, if I could have like a mic just float in the air, that would be perfect.
Like those old time mics, like a Bruce Buffer mic, or are you ready to hear some ukulele?
That would be good. Let's see. So you got to go to the Comedy Store.
Yes.
What about just taking time off and going to LA and trying to do a mic there?
Yes, that's also on my to-do list. The only time, when I do have time off, since we're right at the butt end of this whole immigration thing, I'm usually on my days off, I'll go see, visit with the lawyers, make sure everything's in order. Because soon we're going to be going to immigration interview for my wife and my daughter, and then we can move up here. But yeah, every time that I have a chance, I'm like, oh, I got 2 days off. I'm like, oh, I gotta go do this with the lawyers, or I gotta, take the kids here.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, once we move up here and stuff, I'm gonna have so much more time, and I don't have to deal with crossing the border. That I'm definitely gonna be going up to LA, and being able to get booked on shows, and yeah, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Sweet. That's cool. Alrighty. So how do you feel about the length of the podcast? You've been on a podcast before?
No, this is my very first podcast.
Are you gonna do your own podcast someday?
I was doing a kind of trial runs. I have a lot of videos of me talking in line at the border, just because I'm like, maybe I can do, and it was called was it Border Stories? I maybe have 10 videos of me recording, just talking about what it's like being at the border, seeing things, or talking to the vendors, and
are they published?
No, I just recorded them, and I never edited them and did anything with them. But when I listened to it, I was just like, nah, this just isn't like it isn't. It's not how I don't know if I'm too hard on myself.
Yeah, here's the thing: you never know what people are gonna like. Sometimes people like that authenticity, right?
Yeah.
And you're only gonna get better by releasing it and then I'm gonna do better next time.
Yeah.
You know, those time where I was like cutting off, or first the microphone, and now I'm like trying to frame it better because it had it up on the table, and it was like, it was it wasn't. And then like the framing is because there was so much space above our heads. Sometimes I was like, wait, what am I doing? This doesn't make any sense.
I did notice that because I did go on the YouTube channel and I was like looking at different. I was like, oh, I recognize that comedian. I'd see like small clips of like comedians that I noticed, and I did see like the ones towards the end. Like you had a better like framing. Yeah. So yeah, I can see.
Okay, thank goodness somebody notices. So that's my advice: is just to put out what you have and then just try to do better.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if I don't put it
out, let the audience grow with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to find your audience, and then hopefully they'll grow. Yeah. As you grow.
Yeah, I might still just publish those. I mean, it's been over a year that I recorded those.
Yeah, you might publish them before you're in the United States, and then people are going to be like, "Wait, what is going on?
Yeah.
Move back."
Yeah. No, if I do anything, I might have something else. I've also thought about doing like Man on the Street, but like in TJ, and just like there's a few people walking around, characters in TJ that I've been wanting to talk to, and just kind of do like a small interview.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah. So yeah, this is my first podcast, so this might give me the encouragement to go and do my own.
Yeah, first podcast that actually gets published.
Exactly.
Doing his own podcast.
So if I start
just for himself.
If I start a podcast, will you come on my podcast?
Sure.
Even if you have to go to TJ? You got your passport?
I got my real ID. Is that enough?
Yeah, they consider that a passport now.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, just for the continental United States, right? Like,
yeah.
Canada and Mexico.
Canada and Mexico. I don't think you can fly to like Europe with your California ID. No.
The real ID.
Real ID.
I don't know what the other IDs were.
They're fake IDs. I had fake IDs this whole time.
Exactly. All right, so I think this is a good length.
Yeah.
Everybody's satisfied?
Yeah. I'm satisfied.
That's right. Comment below if you're not satisfied. Just tell us next time what we could do to make you happy. All right. This has been Comedy or Worse. Bye.
Bye.